Hey, what is up, space people? No Man's Sky Next finally went live yesterday after hours of waiting, and it is packed filled with so many features that it will make even the most seasoned veterans feel lost in the vastness of this new update. The update itself is absolutely massive. It contains so many features, it's super hard to list them all, which is why I urge you to go ahead and check the patch notes on the official No Man's Sky website, where you can see and read about all the details. But since the update is so big, that means we need to make sense of it, which means that in today's video we'll cover most of the things a player needs to take note of in the first few hours in the next update. This will prove useful no matter if you're already playing the game for some time or if you're a newcomer, but all of that and more I will cover in this video, so let's get started. First things first, upon firing the game for the very first time, you'll see the selection screen being completely changed. You're presented with the option to play the game normally using your existing save files or join somebody's game, either a friend or a random person out there. The game is 4-player co-op, but it leaves the possibility to see other players as well, up to 16 per lobby. Keep in mind the following though: while in the 4-player co-op you can see other players including their character models, their actions, their ships and everything they are basically doing. You can even combat them or trade with them, but for every other player outside of the co-op that you randomly meet, they will continue to appear as the floating orbs that you're used to, and this was tested and confirmed by people in the Galactic Hub, so there you go. Now you have confirmation. Co-op is up to 4 players, but everything on top of that is going to continue to be with the floating orb, so just keep that in mind. One of the first things you've probably heard about the new update is that it gives you the possibility to play either in first person or third person for both on foot and in-flight controls. If you start fresh, the game will default to third person view, but if you're continuing with your existing save game like I did, in order to switch to the third person control you'll need to enter your quick menu by pressing the X button or the equivalent on your controller, and under the utilities tab is where you'll find the toggleable view mode. You'll also notice a ton of other changes in the quick menu itself, from the already known build menu, which went through a massive overhaul to contain way more stuff, to even an emote system that you can use with everybody else. Currently there are a handful of emotes in the game, but I'm sure there will be more added as the time goes by. I'm not sure if these will be unlockable or just straight up added to the game, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it mentioned somewhere that we will get many more on top of this. The camera mode is still there and if you go into it, it will freeze your game in order for you to take some awesome screenshots, but if you are playing in a multiplayer session, the camera instead will not pause the game. Neither your character and everybody else around you, including the creatures themselves, will be able to move freely in real time, so there you have it. You can use your camera control in multiplayer and it will not freeze the game, only if you're playing single player. The second thing you're probably going to notice is that your tech upgrades are now mostly obsolete, as the game introduces a completely new upgrade system with procedurally generated upgrades for your multi-tool, exosuit and vehicles. So you can freely proceed to dismantle all of the obsolete technologies, but do not sell any of the resulting modules, as these will be used in almost every tech upgrade out there. So what you need to do is store them in a safe location. Trust me, you will need these later on. Speaking of upgrades, you'll now need to unlock them from scratch, and from what I've seen there are plenty of new ones and different ones compared to how they were in the previous updates, so keep everything and do not sell them. The space station has gone through a significant overhaul and now contains an actual marketplace, way more NPCs than ever before, guild representatives, quest givers and more. In short, on the right side of the space station there's the tech merchant area and a room that holds a trading terminal. The 3 merchants will sell you upgrades for your ship, your multi-tool and your exosuit. Much like how it was up until now, the merchants themselves hold randomly generated blueprints and you can acquire them using your nanites, so I hope you've stockpiled on them, because I've told you in the past that these nanites will prove useful, so I've definitely kept mine and I am now able to buy a lot of the things that I want to. On the left side of the space station there's a general mission area as well as various NPCs that can be talked to, and they can teach you words, they can show you points of interest, even give you stuff depending on the conversations you have with them. There's a quest giver, a guild envoy, a portal terminus is also there. It has been relocated compared to how it was previously. Of course, there are various rooms with NPCs in them and trading terminals, and the space station is just generally so much better. You can go ahead and check it out. It definitely contains a lot of stuff in it. A peculiar device I'm sure you've probably noticed in the merchants area on the space station is the newly added character customizer. This is your go-to way of completely customizing your character in however way you want it. You can also build it manually on your base or wherever you're going. It will give you the possibility to pick between 5 main races, so the Gags, the Korvax, the Viking, Travelers, and the new Anomaly type, which are the new exosuit models that you've seen in the trailers. The range of customization here is absolutely staggering. You can control everything from suit parts to colors, decals. There's a different suit combination. If you can't even decide on a specific theme, the game offers you like 10 presets per race you can choose from, all being very well made and thought out. At some point, I'm pretty sure I saw a suit really similar to the space troopers in Star Wars. You're probably wondering what happened to your base, and it might appear to you that it got deleted. I know a lot of people panicked over this in the first few hours, but your base actually did not get deleted. I mean, yeah, you're not gonna see it in that location anymore, but it was actually saved in your computer terminal. What you need to do is just place down a computer base terminal to get the base back. It's even mentioned in the update itself, in the update notes when you first start the game, that the bases have been archived, but they can be restored using the base computer. Speaking of bases, you'll be pleased to know that much of the high-end materials in the previous updates have kept their value up into this one, so you can still farm like circuit boards, living glass, or even liquid explosive, and if you have the blueprints for that, you can go for stasis devices, as all of these have kept their values, so you can still farm a lot of units with the former bases. It's just that people need to restore them. The new fleet system should be one of the first things the game warns you about, and if you continue with your already existing game, it can be accessed from your capital ship. To access your fleet, you need to go into your main deck area. You'll see a computer in the middle with a planet hologram. You can access your frigates from here among various other options. Your first order on the day is to build a fleet control room that will not only give you a new blueprint for fuel, but also the possibility to send your ships on various missions and expeditions throughout the galaxy. To build the new fleet control, you will need various resources such as gold, silver, and the new tritium one. So in order to get these resources, I have found it best to just farm asteroids. They contain all of these and you can do it really fast, especially the big asteroids. They can be mined for quite a lot of silver and gold. I found it way better than just going down on planets and trying to manually find them, so just do it like this if you want to build your fleet control room really fast. To acquire a new frigate, you simply need to travel to any fleet you see being spawned in your system. Upon getting closer, you will notice a lot of the ships having green icons over them. These are the recruitable ships. Get closer to them up until you hear the signal sound and enter the ship communication using the quick menu, and it will prompt you with the option to recruit it right there for like a few million units. According to the patch notes, you can recruit up to 50 of these, and they fall into 5 categories, so combat, exploration, trading, industry, and support. They can also range in class from C to S, and they will excel in different activities which I've just talked about. You'll also be pleased to know that the frigates themselves actually travel and will attach to your mothership, so you can even land on them, and they hold an outside area as well as an inside area. You can even fall from them. It's generally cool to see them and just being able to walk in space, but keep in mind that you can actually fall off of them. If you do so, you will die and you will respawn back at the space station, which in turn means that you need to go back to your grave, get your materials back, and you know, it's just a waste of time. So if you want to jump, go ahead and do it, but I don't recommend it because there's nothing to it. You will just lose your stuff and it will be tedious to go back. Planets have also gone through complete changes, and the procedural generation and the visuals in general look much more improved. You'll see way better worlds, the rendering distance has been drastically increased, and I find the gaming experience much more stable and with higher frame rates per second, but there are still some bugs typical to new releases. I'll go over them later in the video. The fauna has improved dramatically with much better animations, creature generation, and even the AI has been improved. The ringed planets are the new addition, and you can even land on them. They're basically like every other planet out there, except they have rings. The rings themselves are not just flat textures, but they are actually made out of dust or clouds. Not sure which one of these, but they are definitely not flat textures. Nonetheless, I was pleasantly surprised to see this being the case. For performance reasons, I see why Hello Games has decided to go with this route and not make them out of solid objects, it would have completely destroyed your frame rates per second, and I've seen some mods trying to do this in the past and it was completely unsuccessful, but it still looks miles away better than what I've expected. Of course, they can even spawn shadows, so they look really well made. Speaking of clouds, they've also got improved by a lot, but there are currently issues with them looking strange from certain angles, especially when you enter atmosphere. Planets are also way more hazardous than before and just more dangerous to navigate. The weather effects have been bumped up both in visuals and severity, and you will die if you don't pay attention to the survival game. So yeah, get equipped with resources and don't stay or venture too far away from your ship because it will be dangerous for you. The basic elements like iron, plutonium, iridium and everything else has been completely redesigned. In fact, you'll now need to scan each resource type to see what it rewards you. Not only will it reward you the base material now, but also a bonus one, which I find really cool, and just the new way of acquiring stuff looks very good to me. The iron is now called ferret dust. It can be mined from just rocks. The plutonium crystals now gives you condensed carbon, and I think its usage was replaced with uranium, which is much harder to get. Iridium crystals now gives you dihydrogen. This will now be used as your primary source of energy to power your ship by building a starship launch fuel using it and the ferret dust. So pay attention where you land because you might very well land on a planet with no dihydrogen and not enough resources left to get them. And since we're still on the subject of revamped elements, the game now has a portable refiner which you can build from your quick menu, much like how you can do with any signal booster. Its main use is to refine certain base elements into more advanced ones. For example, carbon can be refined into condensed carbon, sodium into sodium nitrate, and ferret dust into pure ferret, among many others. To use it, you need to put it down, add fuel to it, add the source material in the input section you want to refine. In the output, you'll see the possible results, and the process can be started pressing the E button on your keyboard. Depending on the material and the quantity, it can take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes to refine all of it. Also, once built, you can transfer this refiner into your inventory as it's a portable device, so you don't have to build and delete it over and over again, which is really nice. The encounters in the game are now more advanced, and especially the fighting ones can become way more dangerous than ever before. The sentinels have now been revamped and there's even new types being added. Even the flying drones now spawn armored versions of themselves following the first waves, and they act quite similarly to how GTA handles police in general. Like, upon killing the first wave, if they manage to call for help, you will quickly see them scouting for you and they will actively search for you and try to kill you. If you manage to avoid detection for like 30 seconds, congratulations, you've escaped death. But if instead they find you, you'll have to deal with increasingly stronger enemies. So far I've reached like 3 stars, and even from 2 stars it was like super hard to deal with them. Like, they were very powerful. Even the first wave is very powerful right now. Also, more sentinel types do roam the planets. I haven't seen so far like the big bipedal roaming ones, but I did see the dog looking ones just scanning stuff by itself and, you know, having different interactions compared to how it was in the past. There's also new alien type monsters in the game that spawn when attacking their nests. There appear to be some new eggs in the game that can be used in technology upgrades, and if you try to steal them, upon doing so you'll quickly get surrounded by like a dozen or so creatures that spawn from underground, and they are really strong. They can overwhelm you easily, they can jump, they can spit toxic stuff at you, and they're just creepy to look at. Ship textures have also been drastically improved, which I'm pretty sure you have seen. It's almost like the former models were on low settings and the new ones are on maximum settings. You might have also noticed slight changes to your ships, like slightly changed wings or engines. The squid ship somehow disappeared from the game, at least mine got transformed into a regular exotic one, not sure what that means. There's also no ship customization from what I'm seeing, and I doubt there will be one. You also cannot color your ships. I think exocrafts can be colored, but I haven't gotten to that part yet. Speaking of ships, if in the previous update you've owned more than one, rest assured that they did not disappear. To access them, you need to go into your quick menu and you will be able to summon any of your existing ships without much hassle. No longer will you need to travel manually to your freighter to switch your ship, and you can even call 2 at the same time, so it's pretty awesome to see like 2 of your ships being parked on the random planet. As for the bugs themselves, I did notice some bugs with the new clouds, especially when sitting in certain angles in the atmosphere. I did have one crash to desktop so far on the PC, but it only happened during the stream, so it might have been just my PC not being able to keep up. Stability seems improved, but I do have some random stuttering, especially when landing with the ship on different planets. Also, there are various bugs, especially with the NPCs on my capital ship. When speaking to them, the camera tends to go over their head, which kinda goes into clipping with the ceiling, but a patch is being worked upon according to Sean Murray, and it will deploy really soon, possibly even today. So yeah, just hang in there guys, it's definitely gonna come up. Bugs with these types of updates are definitely expected, and we will encounter quite a few of them, but this is so far what I've experienced. In the next update, there's a ton of stuff being added, and it's just insane how much content there is into it. This game is miles ahead better compared to how it was in the previous patches, and people have generally a very good opinion of it. But as I progress in this game, I will make sure to cover even more stuff to help you guys out. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, case in which a like and a subscribe would be super appreciated. Also activate the notification button and add me on social media, links are in the description box, and I will see you guys in the next video.